when I feel it, that cold fire inside that warms up my body and sharpens my mind, that state of alertness and focus, ready, like a samurai, placing his hand on the hilt. So, it's a poem I'd written recently. Just want to, there is weird sound issues. The air is on, the heat for the air is on. So if you hear it, please ignore. Just can't do anything about it right now. I'm not going to wait till it's done. Could be like an hour or two, I don't know. And anyway, the poem, I wrote like, the way I wrote poetry, right? The topic I had for today was how using poetry to process emotions. And I've written down here that my poetry is a crystallization or capture of a mind, current state of mind, feelings and perceptions of or about my environment. And what the way poetry comes out naturally from me, comes out best from me, is if it's as a stream of consciousness where I get a thought, I kind of hook it like a fish. I feel a little pull. It's like, I think I have one, and pull out the pen, and then 5 minutes within like usually less than 5 minutes. All the poems I've written in the past, I want to say 10 years, 10 years or more, even 12, more. Nah, about 12. About 12, yeah. The past about 12 years. All the poems I've written, it's usually been stream of consciousness. It's usually been really fast. They're usually non-rhyming at this point. And it's not laziness. Some people view it as, oh, if it's a poem, it should rhyme. They just don't anymore. I don't know how else to put it. They used to, but they at one point they stopped. I remember one of my exes that I was with during the shift. She was like, she didn't like it. She was like, make them rhyme again. I like how you used to write them. I'm like, actually, I think I didn't write quite as much. I'd still wrote, but not quite as much. I used to write way more. And then I stopped for like, not really, slowed down. I put a tourniquet on it for like a while. So some stuff we'll get through for major events, but the regular writing took a hit. And I think it's also, it's like concepts of it. Like, I knew that's how it was coming out, but I wasn't paying attention to the hooks anymore. Like, I'd have hooks where it'd get like a line that presented itself in my head clearly, and I didn't jump on it. Like, if I don't jump on it, it's gone. And that thing about it is that line, it turns into, that line comes out. I write the line down, and then as I'm writing the line down, the next line is coming to me. So the amount of time between me thinking about the line, how it's coming out, and the time it takes me to write it, it's very, 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 very short. And there's a lot of factors in play for that. Like I've read a lot, I've seen a lot, I've watched all the stuff, I analyze a lot, I analyze myself a lot, I replay a lot of scenes in my head to see where I went wrong, how I could do it better. I'm very introspective. There's no way around it. So I think just doing that over and over time, it's just like once I have something that pops up emotionally, that's emotionally impactful for me, like a gain, a loss, strong feeling, perception of something. Like sometimes, actually, a lot of times if I'm taking the train or the subway, I tend to write more poems. And it's like it's usually if I'm observing things on the subway and then I get the hook and I have a train of thought, grab it and write out something right away. And it is part of a crystal, like as I said earlier, a capture. It's like a capture of a thought process. So what I used to do that I had to stop doing a while ago is that I would write a poem in that state, just get it down, and then maybe I didn't 100% finish it. Maybe it's like 95% done, and I'd come back to it later, and then I would start changing a bunch. I'd look up, I was like, why did I word that way? And I could word it differently now. So I'm like out of, but the thing is, I realized that I'm out of the moment. And when I read through a poem that I've 95% finished and then gone back to, I start re-editing it and I don't remember what state of mind I was in as I was writing that poem. And the edited poem of me being in a different mindset is just, it didn't work. It didn't work. I'm not just saying this like I'm a perfectionist, and it literally didn't work. It was as if two different people, like one person wrote it, another person re-edited it and rewrote it. I guess kind of like what happens in the movie industry a lot, right? Which is why some of these movies, a lot of these movies don't make sense, or like what happened? Like coming in after someone else, even coming in after yourself, it could just take a lot away from, especially if you're writing with emotional energy, if you're writing a lot of internal, you know what I mean? Like capture of the spirit type energy, then it's different. If you're building a narrative and stuff, then it's more logical in a sense, or you'll have a certain style that you're self-aware enough to recognize, jump on, expand on. That's different. That's different. I'm not talking about that stuff. But so I realized that going back to what I was saying, I realized that I was in a different mindset when I'm coming back to edit these 95% finished poems. So I stopped it. I was like, listen, if I'm writing something, I gotta finish it in one go, and I gotta sign and date it. If I sign and date it, I can't touch the poem anymore. It's off limits. It's just beat me up, Scotty. It's gone. And that's basically how I do it. That's how I do it now. Write it. I don't know if you could see this. It's just sorry. I shot earlier with the iPad. It was blurry as hell. But this is literally how I wrote it. How I wrote it on a train. This isn't a second draft. I didn't clean this up to make it look nice. I just wrote it straight through when I feel it. That cool fire inside. And then as I'm writing, the next line's coming. As I'm writing, the next line's coming. As I'm writing, the next line's coming. I'm looking at the camera to make sure, it's in focus and you can see what's happening. If I was Casey Neistat, these would be sunglasses. As I'm writing, next line's coming. And then usually around here, like 2/3 of it is usually done. And then usually around here is where I'm a lot more intentional, and I'll go for a certain feel where I want to cap it off. Because if I don't cap it off, it'll be 95% done. And like I said, if I come back to it later, I'm not in the same frame of mind, and I'm gonna write a totally different thing. So this is the hook. It's in frame. It's in focus. I'm gonna click the camera, make sure this is in focus. Good. So this is the hook. This is the line I'd get in my head. Or yes, I'll get ahead. This would be stream of consciousness, right? Come on, focus on the poem, camera. I guess when I move my head, I can't move my head. This is, okay, whatever. Hook, stream of consciousness, wrap up. Have to pull out the pen when this happens. This is pretty easy. And then the wrap up is where I'm tying it together and, cut the umbilical cord and tie both ends. So that's how I do it. That's kind of the evolution of the process of that. Don't know how you do it. Curious to hear if you have any weird things you're self-aware about that may not be, I don't know, traditional or whatever, but it's what works for you. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned this. I just want to double check because, like I said, I recorded a video earlier. Didn't come out well. Whatever. But just double checking. I mentioned it not rhyming anymore. It was kind of, it just one, like I used to write poems a certain way, like the traditional way, like 4/4/4 or four paragraphs of 4 sentences, rhyming, or 3 6s, 4 4s or 3 6s. or one 8 to 12 blurb. And one day I wrote something, like I had that, I guess, I wasn't self-aware that it was happening, but I just wrote something, very stream of consciousness like. If you watch Yugi, it kind of felt like Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to watch a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. If you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like how Yami Yugi would come in, and he'd be like, kind of felt like that when I'm writing. That's what I used, that's how I was like, it's like, did I write this? You know what I mean? Just stream of consciousness, but that's what it is. So we all have a Yami Yugi inside. And, yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Hope you enjoyed it. Share thoughts or feelings or your process. I'm curious. I'm always curious. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.